Live. We all the way live. The party ain't over. From the Say It Loud Radio Show. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go. It's time for the Fuckery. You're now tuned into the most unpredictable podcast on the World Wide Web.
It's about to shut it.
It's Say It Loud. Hosted by Karen Howell.
Down. Hey.
Across all major platforms, and you are locked in.
You are locked in.
You know what it is. Pour up a glass of wine, ladies. Let the Henny flow, fellas. And get ready to turn the Fuckery up to lit status. It's Karen Howell live on Say It Loud Radio. On your favorite internet platform, streaming live.
Yes. It's another episode of Say It Loud. I'm always so happy to speak with you guys. And today in my hot seat, we have Cocky Wife. So I've been following Cocky Wife on Instagram and watching her post and her new book that came out. And I was so intrigued. I was like, we have to get her on the show, and we got to talk about some of the things and the points that she's bringing up, because a lot of people don't speak about it. So Cocky Wife, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Karen. I'm so excited to be here. What's up, everybody?
So as you know, I've been following you on Instagram, and the reason I thought you would be a good fit for my Say It Loud listeners is because you touched on so many subjects regarding sex and sexuality and relationships. And you know, this is a relationship podcast. I mean, we talk shit, but it's mostly supposedly a relationship podcast.
I get it. That's what's up.
And I just felt like there were so many things that we don't talk about and we don't open up the floor to talk about, that this was a good opportunity to bust it wide open, for lack of better terms.
I love wide open. Wide open is good.
So you have this book called 7 Habits of a Sexually Satisfied Wife.
Yes.
So, let me just say, fellas, because I have a lot of Say It Loud dudes that listen to me. I love y'all. I probably love y'all more than the chicks, because y'all give me mad feedback. The ladies just be listening. The dudes just be like, okay. I want y'all to listen to this too, because while the book is called 7 Habits of a Sexually Satisfied Wife, there are some talking points in there for men that I feel they need to know about. And women, you need to know about for your relationship with your man. Men, you need to know about your relationship with women. And then, respectively, you need to know about your relationship with yourself. And I think that was an interesting part of the book. So, Cocky Wife, what made you write the book in the first place?
So let me give you some background. I have been with my husband for 26 years. So we met at 16. He's my high school sweetheart, 1994. Does that make that 26 years? You know, somebody else do the math. But we end up, having a little break for a little while. And then we came back. So we've been married for 19 years this year. So I have been with this dude for the majority of my life. And so in that, being married, having my first sexual experience with him, we have 4 children. We have been through a lot. I have been through a lot sexually. And I came to a point one time and I'm like, you know what? I am deciding that I want to be fulfilled sexually. I don't want him to lead me in the bedroom. I want to take the power back. And so I started on this journey of talking about being married and having sex. And let me tell you, it's so many women out there, because in our culture, we were raised not to talk about what happens in the bedroom, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't think I'm the only one that heard that. So, what goes on in the bedroom stays in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And I was like, so once I began talking about it, and maybe this is like in my 7th, 8th year marriage, maybe 10th, I was talking to so many women about it. They was like, wait a minute, I go through that. Wait a minute, I'm doing that. So I wrote this book because, listen, ladies, we don't have to suffer in silence. If you have a problem with this, let's talk about it. Let's go through it together. Let's try to find some tools, because I didn't like the not stereotype, but the perception that wives are not doing their shit in the bedroom. Oh, can I say shit?
You can say whatever you want.
I'm a cusser sometimes. But you know what I'm saying? That we are not doing the shit in the bedroom. Because if I hear one more time that somebody cheated or did this and that because their wife wasn't taking care of what she had to do at home, I was just going to go crazy. That's not the reason he cheated. But I wanted us to get our pleasure and shit in the bedroom and take control of our power. And that was why I wrote the book. I'm passionate about it, Karen, as you can see. So.
I appreciate it. But I feel like there's so many things that you touched on. The number one, from the very beginning, I feel like women, like you said, we're kind of almost taught as women to not talk about sex so much.
Right.
The stereotypical American tradition is that, if men talk about sex and sexuality, it's okay. But if women talk about sex, it's like it's a problem, or automatically it makes you a hoe, or it makes you
exactly.
It's not coming. It's never from a place of empowerment. Number two, I think that there's also this like negative connotation that comes from, if you like, I've seen things that says like, if you want your sex life to change, get married.
Drive me fucking crazy.
You can't, married people don't have sex. And I felt like as I was reading the book, those were some of the things that came into my mind, because it was like, no, married people do have sex. And it just looks different. Also, that empowerment piece I think is very important. And I wanted to let's start with the part where we look at like the relationship and the communication on a whole. Let's start there.
Okay. All right.
I know we're going to talk about our personal part, but just the power of communication and embracing that, because I definitely feel like I'm starting with that because I feel like that's the perfect place to start a conversation.
I think that's great. Listen, in marriage and relationship, we talk, hopefully you get into the point where you talk about everything. So we talking about the finances, we talking about the kids, we talking about whatever X, Y, and Z, but rarely do we talk about how we are going to align as a couple sexually. Rarely do we talk about, okay, are your needs getting met or are my needs getting met? What do you like? What do what do I may not like? You know what I'm saying? So we never have that conversation. And so I always say communication is the foundation. You got to be comfortable with talking to your partner about sex. Shit, you're doing it. You're going to be doing it for the rest of your life. So if I can't feel comfortable with telling my husband, like, babe, you just really ain't, when you hit it right there, that shit ain't feeling right. If I'm not comfortable with telling him that, then I am losing out on my pleasure. And he may think he's doing something and he's not. So why are we doing this? So communication is important. I say that with trauma. With women, a lot of us have dealt with trauma, either trauma to our bodies, trauma to our mind. We come with a lot of stuff. Not saying men don't, but we come with a lot of stuff. And so if I can't communicate something that you are doing is a trigger for me, or I may not feel comfortable. Let's talk about it so we can find a way that maybe you can be more gentle, or maybe we can do this, or maybe we can do that to make me open up, because my pleasure is important. And so that's why I always say, find a time. In the book, I call it the sandwich method. You know what I'm saying? So you start with the positive, like, yo, babe, last night you hit it out the water. Then you start with what your problem is or what you want to work on. Like, if you can kind of hit it from the side, that'd be really good. And then you end with another positive. But man, like tomorrow or tonight, let's do it again. So he gets the message, y'all work on it, but you still are building him up and not saying, well, you don't need to do this right, you need to do that right. But you're still offering that communication so y'all can facilitate a back and forth in a non-judgmental, because a lot of times you feel like your spouse is going to judge you, in a non-judgmental and comfortable space. So I'm big on communication about sex in a marriage.
Yeah, I think also couples need to check in, because I feel like it's a conversation to have. And I say this with my lingerie line coming out. But what someone might have liked at 19 and 20 is not the same thing as 30 and 40. And so you can't be like, well, I've been doing the same thing for 15 years or 20 years. I know what it is. I know this. Because just like you said in the book, just like your relationship has an evolution process, so does the sex and the sexuality in that. And it changes depending on where you are in life. And I really think that sometimes people don't understand that. Like, a woman who just had a baby, her sex and sexuality is going to feel different. You know what I mean? Then
hell yeah.
Somebody like you, on your side. there's a whole different kind of energy in the room because you're just different space mentally. So let's get into the mental part of that.
Yes. So I talk about that, and it's funny, on my Instagram, I am doing like monthly series, and this month in January, I'm talking about the mentality of sex. You know what I'm saying? So what thoughts do you bring into sex? You know what I'm saying? Do you think sex is dirty? Do you think sex is this? Everything plays a role. If you're always thinking about something when you're in the middle of sex, like, damn, did I do this? Do I do that? How to focus, how to breathe. How words is so important into making sure you let go. And I say this to my fellas, it's like, making love to me starts during the beginning of the day. Say, right, baby, good morning. You know what I'm saying? Give me a little text in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? It starts all day. So I think your mentality, how you think about sex, what you think you deserve, what you think your spouse deserves, how you going to get in a good mind space. If your mind fucked up, ain't nothing about to be right. Right. Everybody know that when this right here, your mind ain't right, and everything's going to be fucked up. So commit. And that's what I did with Cocky Wifey. I committed. I made sure that I'm going to be committed to making sure the sex life that me and my husband have made up, because every, sexual life and everybody's marriage is different. But what we decided what we're going to do, I'm going to be all for it. But that started up here.
Right. And how do people begin to do that work? Because I think a lot of people are like, nah, I'm good. And they're not really realizing, nah, everybody you speak to is fucking good. I'm the only person that's you know what I mean?
Nah, me and you, Karen, at the basket cage. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm like,
because I'm so reflective in so many different parts of life that I'm so conscious. I'm like, how could y'all not be? You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people come to sex, whether in marriage or not married, without marriage, with their own sexual habits, with their own hang-ups, right? I think that's part of also doing that emotional and mental work too. What did you see your parents do? What did you watch? What things around you have influenced your thoughts and ideas about what sex is supposed to be? There's some women sex is just for having babies. And so in their mind, I'm not really supposed to enjoy this. Like they just lying there like, when he done, he done. It's like the color people, you know what I'm saying? And you just like, nah, sis, that's not how the mechanics even fucking work.
Right.
There are people that have these hangups, or like you said, they have trauma. They've been in relationships or situations where they could not be sexually liberated. And some people think that trauma means that I got beat or I got raped. No, trauma could just be you not being able to fully express yourself sexually. That's
right.
That's someone.
Absolutely.
So you got to also think about that when you're talking about that mental space, because until you work on your own personal hang-ups, beliefs, disbeliefs, box, whatever it is that you put yourself in, once you figure that out, then you can better be able to be in any type of thing with somebody else.
Absolutely. It all starts with self. All starts with self. And, everybody gets there at a different point. And so I would hope with Cocky Wifey, when somebody, comes in contact with me or reads my stuff on my Instagram, they're at the point that they're ready to pivot. Because maybe Karen at, marriage year 3, I was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I call myself a missionary missus. Like I'm on my back. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Until I got to the point where I'm like, now I know there has to be something more to this.
How
I know there has to be.
Realize that?
I was 26, 27, 28. So maybe like 29, 30.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. And this was totally not one of my questions for the interview.
Let's do it.
No, but I don't get too personal. But the reason I asked is because we're somewhat around the same age now.
Mm-hmm.
And around 30 or so, I don't know what the hell it was that got into me. I thought I was. But my mentality on sex and my opinions, my drive, my feelings, my own personal sexy shifted. And I could have swore it was because I had my son and there was all that testosterone in my body. But you just told me that it wasn't. So I mean, like, these little girls running around here in 1920 talk about my WAP is this and my WAP is that. I'm like, little girl. We're thinking about 32, 35.
Listen. That's when shit really go down.
This shit, young lady, sit down.
Yeah, so that is around the time where I was like, nah, it has to be more than this. I have to enjoy this more than this. And I think I touched in the book where I think it was around my second kid, where I was just, if I see my husband, I'm like, please don't ask, please, I do not want to fuck tonight. I would just try to go to bed after him. I was trying to avoid him at all costs because I was just so drained with the kids, with work, with everything that I had going on, that sex was the least thing on my mind. You know what I'm saying? But that didn't serve him. That's not going to work. And like you said, when I turned about that 30, I was like, all right, we got to do something different.
Yeah, because I'm in this too now. So there was a question I had, and we could get into it here, because I definitely think and this is from my own personal experience as well, that having children definitely plays a part in a couple having sex, right? I say all the time on my show, I'm like, take the kids to grandma's house. I don't give a fuck if y'all not going anywhere, but
listen,
come back home, order some Chinese food and run around butt ass naked, but take the kids to grandma's house, because you need that time, and you need the same way that you put energy and you schedule everything else that you need to do in life. You need to schedule that time with your partner, because when you think about the house and the dog and the cars and the kids and the job, yes, sex it goes farther and farther down the list, but the intimacy of a marriage is so important. It's so important. And it's almost like during the time when your kids are very young, you have to mentally and physically commit to carving out that time, even if it's not, like you said in the book, for sex. It can be other forms of intimacy. The idea, though, is that you're making it a priority. So
you're making it a priority. Yeah. And so I think in the book, when I was talking about scheduling sex, because we had to do that when our kids were really young. So listen, Karen, we didn't have grandma's house to take the kids. We didn't have nowhere. So we did the shit with them in the house. So how is this going to work with these kids in the house? Okay. Because sometimes, you don't have the support system. So we had to be creative. We had to make sure. And you know what? In being creative, it became spontaneous. It became an adventure. Like, we used to go in the garage with the car parked. So the kids be somewhere, like we're going somewhere, car parked in the garage, that's where we're going to hit it. But it was just so good. And that's where we started carving out our time. But it made it fun. It made it adventurous. It made it when we in the shower, we'd turn on the shower, we lock the bathroom door. We both in the bathroom, the shower running, the kids can't hear nothing. Now listen, the kids bang on the door. They be fucking up the mood sometimes. They're like, Ma. And I'm like, listen, you have to learn to power through that. Them kids would be all right.
Meditate with me.
Yo, at this point, we're like, fuck them kids. Don't worry,
they got chicken nuggets in the oven. They be all right.
They'll be all right. Listen, we're not having, hours around sex. So we had to determine, listen, if the kids are here, we're going to have quickies. So I'm good. We're going to have some quickies. We are going to do in different areas, like I said, in the garage, in the bathroom, in the closet. And somebody makes time, give the kids a tablet, give the kids the TV, because with us, we didn't have anywhere for them to go. So we figured out how to make time together just for them. Waking up early in the morning. This is what we're doing now, that we wake up really early in the morning, because we have a 5-year-old. They still wake up, but we wake up early in the morning or something like that.
That's what you got to do. You got to, whatever time they get out, you got to set your alarm clock an hour before that.
Because, Karen, that was me. I put all my energy and my priorities into my kids. Right. Because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Do too. That's what we're taught as women to do.
Yes.
You have your kids, all your energy goes to your kids. And that's why so many men, and I know the women are going to be like, Karen, don't say that. But that's why so many men, when their women have children, they tend to I don't want to say all cheat, because they don't all cheat, but they tend to feel neglected.
They disconnect.
They feel disconnected. They tend to feel like they're not a priority anymore. And it's not that they're not a priority. We know daddy's there, right? But you're looking at him as go play with daddy, not like go play with daddy.
Right.
And so, you know, you got to flip that around and be like, okay, well, what would I feel like in that situation? And then daddy, you got to look at it the other side. Like mom just had a baby and she got like milk leaking from her titties and it was cute, but it's not cute anymore. And her belly's stretched and she's not feeling very sexy. And what does that feel like for her? And what does that feel like for you? Because those are still things that we need to take in consideration. You know what I mean? My mother-in-law moved in the house. Got to take that into consideration. You know,
mine did. Mine did.
It's like we still got to function in this, right? The core of what this relationship is, and it's not just sex. It's not just sex. It's
right.
Not the sex. It's
right. Absolutely.
The core of what this relationship is needs to stay together, and having that time is important. And so, like, how do you do that with all the other shit that gets thrown at you in life?
Right. And that's what I said, you know, I had to, and I don't know if I said this in the book, but, you know, with the kids, when I felt like all my energy was supposed to go to the kids, and I haven't had a conversation with my husband, I'm like, I got to do this, I got to do that. And I was breastfeeding, it's glad you said that. But, you know, we talked about how I didn't have to do everything and how I needed him to take some of the burden away from them. Because listen, the kids don't care if it's mommy or daddy sometimes. They just want to be fed, played with, diaper change or whatever. So when he started saying, wait a minute, I feel like my needs are not met in this area, but what can I do to make sure you're available more? You know what I'm saying? So I say for my men.
When I was married, I'm going to tell men right now, if your woman is, let me tell you, if you want someone when she get home,
listen.
Men, let me tell you, if she has to come home and cook dinner and clean the house and vacuum and give the kids a bath and get them down for bed and then come and fuck you, you're going to have a hard time. If she come home together and one of you cook and one of you give the kids a bath and we could put them down a lot easier and then you get a fucking Roomba to vacuum the place, guess what? You're going to get a lot more out of her.
Thank you. Thank you. And sometimes for some reason their mind really don't shift that way, you know, automatically. So you have to tell them, baby, if you release some of this pressure off of me, I'm more available to you.
Right.
You know, I'm more available to you, but it's so yes.
Episode out now on Pandora, Amazon, Audible, Apple, Spotify. All of y'all know now. You know now. I'm telling, go send the flowers to my P.O. box. I'm telling you. And for the women too, like if your husband is an active husband that's hands-on all the time with the kids, and that's fine because there's dads that do that. Understand that when you balance the burden and no one feels burdened, one, emotionally you're going to want each other more, and then
absolutely
you have the time and space to do that. You know, so you better go tag them in this so they can listen to this episode right now.
That is so true. And I love what you said, balance the burden. I love that because that is true. Balance the burden. Everyone can have a role and we don't have to feel so overwhelmed with everything. So I love that.
Yeah. So there's another thing I wanted to talk about.
Let's do it.
It says sexy is not a body size, it's an attitude. And I wanted to bring that up because I feel like that's something a lot of women don't know about themselves. I feel, and I have I told you, I got a lot of male listeners. I love them to death and they're so empowering to me and give me so much good energy. And they'll tell me flat out, like, Karen, they be like, Karen, you can model. And I'd be like, no, I can't. I'm not in the physical.
Right.
You know, if you just are confident, it don't matter. And so to me, men are more attracted to confidence.
Listen.
Are to a size. There's always a man for a size. But I think as women, we are very hard on ourselves. Like I know women that won't wear this and won't wear that, and I don't look good. I just launched a lingerie line, and there's women like, I can't wear this and I can't wear that. And I'm like, you could wear anything it is that you feel comfortable wearing. Why is it you don't feel comfortable? And so I wanted to bring that up because it was like in one of the beginning pages of the book, and I felt like it was so important that it's not a body size, it's an attitude. So what are your thoughts on that?
And that's you hit it on the nail. It's how you feel, your confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we have this body image, and you know, men can tell us all the time, "Damn, you look good." My husband said, "Damn, you look good." I'm like, "No, I don't," because this and then that and then that. And for me, I didn't feel sexy. When I became feeling sexy, my body didn't change. I'm still in the same body, but my mind shifted.
Right.
You know, I became more confident. I became, you know, this woman that feels empowered in her body. You know, now, of course, sometimes I can, you know, work out or do this or do that or do that. But my thoughts and my sexiness is not tied to my appearance and my body. You know, and so that's why I have to tell women all the time, because I was talking to some women and they were saying the number one thing when I asked the question was their body image is what makes them not comfortable in the bedroom and don't feel that they can be a sexually confident wife because of their body size. And a lot of them said their husband said they love their body size. They had no problems, but it was them who doesn't feel like they're sexy.
I'll tell you the truth. Men are a lot more forgiving to us than we are to ourselves. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes we get so stuck in that hang up that it does hinder sex for us, and it does hinder being confident for us. And it's my thing is that being sexy doesn't come from another being. Like, it's not your man telling you. Like, he can tell you that because he thinks you're sexy, but you're sexy. And so you got to be empowered internally, whether whether somebody tell you or not, because everybody's gonna feel the same way, right? There's 7 billion people. Some people gonna think you're sexy, some people are not. You have to walk and talk and embrace that in who you are and be comfortable in your skin, and the day you do that, sex is gonna be a lot better for you. That's because
sexiness is not tied, just like you said, sexiness is not tied to someone else. Sexiness is all about you. It's not tied to anyone else or what they say and what they think. Absolutely, absolutely. So that's why I wanted to start the book with that. Start the sexiness that you
stuck there. There are a lot of women stuck there. So what do you do?
Right. I always say you have to make the commitment to what you want to change, because we can say, I can say, well, you can do this, you can do that, you can do that. But if you're not ready to make that commitment to do that, then nobody's going to listen to that. You know, so you have to want to make the commitment to change, because that's what I had to do. I had to I had to work on myself. I had to work on some things with me before I can even introduce my husband into, you know, how we can both get this sexual thing, you know, elevated. It was so much shit. I was like, damn, I feel like this, and damn, I feel like that. So I want women to really start, I always say with you, intimacy, partner sex, yes, it's two people, but for you to really realize the complete pleasure, you have to start with you first. And then you can add all of the other stuff, and you can add your husband in and all of that stuff. Because if you don't, the shit after a certain while is going to crumble again. If you're not feeling secure and your husband, y'all communicating and you think you're ready and your husband says, well, you know, I really like it when we can try anal. And you're like, oh, you don't know. But if you was working on yourself, you'd be like, you know what? I don't know if I'm ready for that, but let's try this. Or, I'm down with it. Let's see how this works.
Right.
Let's see how this works. So you'll feel more confident in whatever decision that you want to make. And you don't feel there's not an emotion tied to whatever your partner wants to do. You're not feeling rejected. You're not feeling embarrassed. You're not, you try to work through it.
Right. I definitely think that's important. So chapter 7 is called Get Your Own Orgasm.
Listen, hell yeah, you married, but get your own damn orgasm. If you don't know how to get your own orgasm, don't leave it up to him. Yes. So, I think of myself as the masturbating missus. So, there is some debate. You like masturbating missus? Thank you. There's some debate about masturbating and partner sex, or being married and masturbating. So, some people saying you shouldn't be masturbating while you're married, and, that's just a form of, thinking of other things, especially, our Christian brothers and sisters masturbating, they just don't do it. But I believe, for me, when I learned my body and learned what pleases me and what areas, and, get my own orgasm, it was better for me to communicate that information to my husband. So I knew that, listen, if I really want to get an orgasm, and I don't have to get an orgasm every time, but when I want to, I know how I like it and I know how I want to be felt. And I wouldn't have gotten that if I didn't learn how to get my orgasm and masturbate myself. So I tell every woman, learn your body, know your body. Don't let him be the first person who touch your body and know the ups and downs and the cracks and what makes you feel good. You Find out if nipples make you feel good, then touch your nipples every once in a while. But let's see if that works. If your neck, you will be the one to explore your body first and your pleasure zones and what gives you pleasure. And if masturbation, which I love, is how you get there, then that's how you get there. And so there should be no shame in that.
Yeah, I actually think that that's healthy. I think that both women and men need to be more comfortable with that. I think it does.
Yes.
It can. I think it also makes your sex life together fun.
I love mutual masturbating. We'll both do it. We don't, I have a chapter in there. It's not all about penetration. Right. It's not all about penetration. So, we mutually masturbate, or I will do it and he will watch, or he will do it and I will watch. It's just, it elevates it. Intimacy and sex is so all encompassing that, when you free yourself and allow yourself to see or do or experience different things, it's amazing.
Right. And it keeps it fun and it breaks up the monotony of the same thing all the time. So, but I definitely think that it's important to kind of know your body and know what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and kind of being comfortable with that and growing into that space, because that will also make you very confident. Mm-hmm. There, but you have to know well enough to be able to pull your confidence from yourself and be like, oh wow, you know what I mean, and push your body to those levels where you can be like, wow, I didn't know I could do that, or this is so much fun, and just really thinking outside the box than from the traditional things maybe we think we're supposed to. As a woman, I do typically think like women tend to put a lot of pressure on men, like that's or he didn't do this, or he didn't do that, or I didn't have an orgasm, and it's like, yo sis, but like,
right,
what did you do? Yes. You're like, you know what I mean, like you're waiting for someone to give that gift to you, and that's dope. It's very attainable, but at the same time, there's no saying that you can't go into that situation and kind of like pleasure yourself even with a partner or without a partner and say, you know what, it was good because I did this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Citizen when it comes to our sexuality and enjoying sex, and I just don't understand why that has to be. It's not taking away from a man. Men should be empowered too, but it's also women saying, okay, well, I'm not going to wait to tell you, to find out what I like. I'm going to tell you what I like. I'm not going to wait for you to give me an orgasm. I'm going to go get it myself. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And really being empowered to do that and feeling sexy to do that. And trust me, the guys are going to love it.
The guys are going to love it. And then what I've learned and know is guys like pleasing you. So if you tell him this is what pleases me and he don't have to do the guessing game, I can direct you to my pleasure and you can see that you are enabling this pleasure. Guys love that. My husband loved that. We sometimes, like you said, we forget about the guys sometimes. So if you don't know what's pleasing you, you're leaving a lot of responsibility on him to try to figure it out. And then when he don't get it, like you said, he's like, well, he ain't even hit it right, but you didn't tell him nothing. But when he see that he has made you orgasm or you feel so pleasurable because you showed him where to go, they love that.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we also, and so men, I hope y'all are listening, because I think a lot of times we just assume that men are supposed to know. And a lot of times they don't know. They don't be knowing.
Yes.
They don't be knowing. Right? And we got to it's true. We put a lot, and men, y'all know y'all don't be knowing. It's like the J. Cole song. Like he didn't know the first time, but he was gonna act like he knew, right? Because he didn't want to be the one that he didn't want to tell anybody he didn't know what he was doing. But sometimes you don't know. You're curious, but you don't know, and so it's just as much your responsibility in these situations and in your relationship, and especially if you're married, because I feel like in marriage you take an extra layer of work because you got to hold that marriage together, and this part of it is so critical. To be involved mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, to be able to please your partner and understand what your partner needs and evolve with that as well.
Absolutely.
So
that's so true.
Opportunities to have these discussions. So cocky wife, what are some things that couples can do to keep it sexy in the bedroom?
So I always say, like you talked about this communication. communication will keep it sexy in the bedroom. You know why? Because if we're communicating, so like I think I said this on Instagram, me and my husband does this, we have a list of some things we want to try sexually in the new year. So we keeping it sexy because we're communicating. Yeah. So yeah, we got some goals. We got our sex goals. Yeah. So, we come to the table and, we're like, listen, I think I want to try this out. Or, I think I want to try this out. But we're communicating. And in that, we're keeping it sexy. Yeah. So that is I say the foundation of keeping it sexy, because I can say you do A, B, and C, but your marriage may be different. I always say every marriage is totally different.
I'm making a suggestion. So for all you married couples or not married couples, you don't have to be
right.
Because we have all kinds of couples that listen to Save Loud. So any couples that listen to the show, what you're going to do for January and set your intentions for the year, because that was one of my things for the year, set intentions. You're going to meet. And you're going to, the same way you got your financial goals and your body goals, you are going to make some sexual goals with your partner. And it could be something simple as 2 or 3 things that you want to try in the course of the next year or the next month or whatever. Figure that out between y'all. But I think the same way y'all talk about your relationship and what y'all plan to do for the year, the same way you plan that vacation, the same way you plan to save.
Exactly.
You should say, okay, let's plan on how this feels and what we're going to do. So I like that. All right. What's the next one, Cocky Wife? Write these down. I don't got no more. As soon as I get one.
Right. That's all right, because you know how to get your own orgasm. You're good.
I'm good.
So I would say we have shifted our times of sex. So I want you to shift the time when you have sex. The evening, I think, is the killers, man. Trying to have sex at night is so difficult for so many couples. So we kind of shifted. We try to hit our morning. So we have a minimum amount of week that we got to have sex. It's no brainer.
Talk about it.
So we talked about scheduling sex, but in scheduling sex, we had a non-negotiable. So we had to talk about how many times per week do I feel satisfied, sexually satisfied? So do I need 2 times a week? Do I need 1 time a week? Do I need 5 times a week? And so we talked about that. So me and my husband, this has been years we've been on this, but 4 times a week is when we need to sexually connect. Oh yeah. Yes, listen, at least 4 times a week we have to. It's at this point it's automatic, but we had to set the intention first. Right. Communication.
2021's intention.
Exactly, because we had, maybe my husband was like, I'm at 5 and I was at 3. And I'm like, listen, we'll come to 4 and we are both satisfied. We had to come to a negotiation. I forgot what it was though. That's fair. So in that now, we realized that we're tired in the evening. Yo, it's at night, we working, we got all this shit going on. Yo, don't ask me for no ass at night. I'm tired. So we made another communication. We were like, okay, we're going to try to wake up 2 times per week and we're going to have sex in the morning. Yo, I am a proponent of morning sex. Yo, do it. The kids are asleep. It's feeling good. Wake yourself up with it. So now we are at 3 times a week in the morning. So we wake up at 5 and try to get some quickies in the morning. So it could be me tooting my butt up. It could be in the shower. It could be anything, but we communicated about that. So change up your time. Right. Try not to do it in the evening. Or change up your location, because it's keeping it spontaneous. And spontaneous doesn't have to be going out, spending money, doing all of that stuff. Spontaneous can be in the comfort of your own home. And that keeps it sexy, because we still feeling like the bed, because sometimes the bed is too comfortable. We try not to do it in the bed. So that's another thing. No, we're not doing the bed. We are going to do somewhere else. And this whole house, Karen, if you go into this old house, like, yeah. Remember that one time when she's sitting there? Real quick. The kitchen table, the pantry.
Yes.
You have too much. Whatever square footage in your house, you got square footage of opportunity.
Yes, use all of it. You pay for it. Use all of it. Yes. I definitely like that idea. I definitely think people get caught up with this. I'll just wait till we go to bed type shit.
Yes.
And that's very monotonous and it gets very boring. And like you said, it's always in the bed. It's like, okay, dude, like I know we got a bed, but you know, can we do something else? So I definitely think so. My Safe Loud listeners, are you listening to Cocky Wife? You need to schedule. It's really important, especially you guys with little babies.
Yes.
I think it's even more important that you schedule just because it is hard with children. So definitely schedule, find what works for you guys in your work schedule, wake up early if you have to, find more places in your house that you haven't. This could be on your goal list, right? Yes. And definitely talk about the number of times a week that is going to work for you and commit to that. That seems to be another big issue in marriage. It's like some people get married and they're like, bro, I'm okay with once a month. And then the other partner's like, I need 5 times a week. Y'all gonna have a motherfucking problem.
Right, exactly. And nobody ever talked about it. Nobody ever talked about it.
And it's like, oh, well, it wasn't like this when we were dating. You didn't live together when you were dating. You didn't have two 2-year-olds while you were dating. Like, you know what I mean? Like the ante is up now. So you have to evolve with the situation. You have to grow with it. And then you have to make the commitments inside of that to make that work.
Exactly. And my last thing I will say, and I say this in the book, everything does not have to lead to penetration.
Right.
Every sexual experience or intimacy or everything does not have to lead to penetration. Open your mind about how you can be sexually satisfied without penetrating her or him penetrating you. You know what I'm saying? It could be oral. It could be massages. It could be, you know, watching porn and then y'all masturbate. It could be anything that you guys are comfortable with. So I'm just saying some things that me and my husband is comfortable with, but everybody is different. Like I always say that, whatever you guys are comfortable with. So when y'all communicating, put that in there because sometimes you may not want to get fucked and he don't want to get fucked, but you still want some type of intimacy. So let's do some things that doesn't require penetration. And, you know, you'll be surprised at what you and your partner can come up with. Because when I said that, my husband was like, well, you know, I like that oil when you rub around here and all that stuff. Now, some stuff may lead to penetration, but the goal is to make sure that everything does not have to require an insertion of something. You know, we are expanding my mind of what is pleasurable for us.
Right. And then really also being intimacy.
Yes.
Too. Like a lot of people think, and I say this 120 times an episode or show, like intimacy is not always sex. You can be intimate with someone without having sex. And sometimes your partner doesn't want to have sex. They just want to be intimate. I want you to come lay next to me. I want to watch a movie together. I want you to put that little outfit and press up on me. I don't want to have sex. You don't have to be on you don't have to be naked. I just want to feel you this close to me, this
absolutely
type of manner, right? And so you can think about those things and be like, yo, babe, let's just order some food or get some fruit and some whipped cream and just kind of like enjoy that together.
Absolutely.
More intimacy versus like, because what you don't want either is like, okay, we're having 5 quickies every day, but it just feels like 5 quickies out of commitment and not necessarily out of passion or out of intimacy or anything like that. Because people can feel that too, right? I know. I don't want to feel like you're doing me a favor. I don't want to feel like that either. So just, you know, making sure that energy's safe and clear and that you're thinking about those things when you are intimate with that person that you want to be intimate with, so that time is there and that you're meeting those needs, because it's not all about sex. You know, sometimes it's just about being intimate and being closeness and kissing, and there's so many things you can do to be intimate with someone, you know, without having to actually without penetration.
Absolutely. I mean, the goal is connecting. You want to stay connecting to your partner, and connecting is just not one way. And so we have to expand our mind or your, you know, relationship on how I can connect to my spouse. That's why I always love texting. You know, I always love my husband just text throughout the day. That is no penetration, is nothing, but that is a type of intimacy because I'm thinking about him now. He's on my mind. Right. And, you know, he always said, I want you on my, you know, if you're having a bad day, but you have someone like, babe, I just want to check in and say, I love you. I hope your day going good. Right. That's it. You know, but, you know, so try to find someone, because maybe you can tell your partner, that's what I need sometimes. And you're like, shit, that's all you need? Oh, all right, then let me text you real quick.
Right now, I am the biggest air candy woman in the world.
Really?
You could be the sexiest man in the world. If I ain't fucking hear from you all day and you ain't stimulate me mentally, then nothing else stimulated. I'm gonna just keep 100 with you. Like,
Karen, that's true.
That's just me. Maybe other women, but I don't particularly work like that. I need the whole emotional build up, tensions. I need all of that. Give me throw it on and pile it high. So I need that. Like, I'm the type of woman that don't tell me I'm gonna see you later. Okay, well, ain't nothing cracking over here until you see me later.
Exactly.
And vice versa, women. I'm gonna tell the ladies too. Your man's not too off from that either. Men are very mental creatures just as much as women are mental creatures. And they want to feel wanted, and they want to feel needed, and they want to feel sexy. They want to feel attractive. So putting that back to say, well, you at work texting him is the same reaction you would have, he's going to have too, maybe more.
That's a good point. And so I say that, Karen, that is a really good point you made with men, because, my husband had to tell me that about initiating. And so we're so used to men initiating, and he had to say, like, listen, I don't want to have to be the initiator all the damn time. I don't want to have to be the one to feel like, that I have to initiate. This is, back early in our marriage, that I always have to initiate if we're going to connect. I want to feel desired. And, I want to feel sometimes that you want to connect with me. And so I always say to women, men, like you said, have feelings too. Initiate more. And that was one of my goals. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to initiate at least once or twice, whatever, XYZ. Yeah, so put it in your head and try to initiate.
Yeah, I definitely think when it comes to men and women, it goes back to that societal norm where we went on a date. Typical woman. We went on a date. He didn't try to kiss me. Like this poor man is probably like, I want to kiss her, but I don't know if I kiss her, is she gonna smack me? Is she gonna want me to kiss? Like, right. No. And so sometimes women, like, you have to be receptive and you have to pick up on those things, or you just have to feel empowered and be like, well, I want to kiss this man, so let me go ahead and do it. Right? And absolutely. Take that risk, because it's the same risk that he would be taking, but his rejection is going to be a lot different from yours.
Right. Exactly.
So, I think a lot of men do feel that way and don't say anything. I posted something on Instagram that, like, it was really crass, like my Instagram. But
I love it.
And I was like, well, this 2021, we texting the dudes where the dick at, and one of the guys was like, we've been waiting for y'all to do that. And I was laughing, but the reality is that the men don't always want to be the ones to initiate. They don't want to be the ones that have to say.
Absolutely.
So I think part of being sexy and being empowered and being that grown-ass woman that y'all all say y'all is being able to say, babe, like, I miss you. I want to see you. I haven't kissed you. I bought this outfit. I'm going to put this on. Like, you can go ahead and do that, especially with your husbands.
Oh, listen.
Married, I could kind of understand that you know what I mean? But for those of you women that are married and, like, committed relationships, go ahead. Like, there's no whole bar. Like, go ahead, do whatever it is you want. Go ahead, send the nudes, do it
all the time. Yes. In a day, just go ahead and send it. I'll be good. I did a post on that, like, sis, send that nasty text. Like send it. No holds barred. Like you said, they love that. Like, damn, you with your boys, you get that text. Did you see that? It was on Instagram when the women was texting the men, like, I want it or something like that. And they were looking like, oh yeah, shit. But you want to build up your man as well. You're building yourself up, but you want to build up your man as well.
I bet you he'd be like, you know what? I'm leaving in about 20 minutes. I bet you all of a sudden that party ain't going to be so much fun anymore. I'll be there in an hour.
That's listen, I'm attest to that. You're right.
You know what I mean? So maybe those are ways. You got to keep your partner engaged and to make it fun, because that's what it's supposed to be.
Yes, that's exactly what it's supposed to be. And you know what I'm saying? It's not all happy and glory all the time, but when you are communication, you have that connection. When you say, like, nah, babe, not tonight, you have that, it's not rejection, because you're like, okay, that's cool, but I know that, we'll try to, pick up another time or something like that, continuous rejection. that I talked about that as well. Continuous rejection, like no, not tonight. I don't want to do that. It's just hard on a man. So you got to learn how to balance that.
I've spoken to a lot of different men in a lot of different situations, and they tell you that. They say that when they're constantly rejected, they just get to the point where I don't want to ask anymore.
Yeah. I hear there's so many men that comment under my Instagram. It's crazy, way more than women. And they'll say, my wife would never do that. She'll never do it in the morning. She'll never. It's just so, I feel bad. Yeah. I just really feel bad. Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for them because, one, it takes a lot to even sit and have a conversation as a man about that. And two, it's almost like they're at that point where they don't know what else to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And once that.
It's a tough place to be in because, you want to communicate with your partner men need to understand what your woman is feeling. Women need to understand what their men is feeling. But then the women with the hang-ups, like my wife would never do this, or she'll never have sex in the morning, or she'll never have sex in the shower, or she never puts on anything sexy. And you're just like, well, why? Where are those hang-ups from? Like I said, you're coming into this. What predispositions are you coming into this relationship with? Because
right.
Those things are holding you back, and it don't matter who she's with. She has to be comfortable with, whatever it is that you guys discuss and are comfortable with in your relationship. And I think that a lot more men don't say anything. I think there's a lot more men than we know about who are not complaining, or just kind of like, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Are not satisfied in the sexual relationship that they have with their partner. I agree. What do they do?
I think, so it's really hard. What I responded is ask her what her barriers are. So if she doesn't want to have sex in the morning, ask her what her barriers are and see, is there any way that you can alleviate those barriers? So maybe it's like, well, because I got to get the kids ready and I got to do this and I got to do this. So what can I do as a husband to kind of alleviate those barriers? If that's the case, he didn't go into why she didn't do that, but it's trying to talk about if there's something I can do to help you. And so you'll be more willing to have sex in the morning. Maybe, is it okay for we could just start that you move, you just turn to your side and just hit it from the back in the morning. Listen, give her options. Maybe she don't want to get out the bed because it's cold outside. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to have to go into the bathroom. Or I don't want to have to go into are you comfortable with just going to the side and I hit it from the back real big and I, hold you or caress you? Maybe she doesn't want penetration in the morning. So it's okay if I give you a massage, or if it's okay if I do this. So you are giving her some options. Maybe you can tell what she wants in the morning, and then y'all can move from there.
Right. So still maybe the communication.
Absolutely. All road leads, and you got to talk. All road leads, you got to talk, because if you are not aligned, this shit ain't going to work out anyway. You're going to say she don't want to have sex in the morning. Well, maybe she don't want to have sex in the morning, but she didn't say she didn't want to connect with you intimately in the morning. So you see how that miscommunication, that's not probably what she was saying. She's probably saying in the morning, I just want you to hug me. I want you to give me a massage. I want you to do something else, but that's not penetration. And then once you do that consistently, and then maybe she'll go over to penetration, or you can still talk about, have check-ins, like you said earlier, on what we can do moving forward.
Right. And then with a lot of women that men don't realize is the aspect of it. I think a lot of women tend to also shut down emotionally, and so if a woman's not feeling emotionally satisfied, we just built that way. I don't know why God made us that way.
It is.
But if you tell your woman like, shut up, be quiet, leave me alone, or you just say something that she take it the wrong way, they'll push it dried up, like you said in the book, like the Sahara.
Right. Because that was me. I can get immediately pissed off, and I'm like, listen, nope.
Don't touch me. That's what's coming out my mouth when you come in. Don't touch me, because now you done said some shit that pissed me off. I don't care. Men could say something that pissed me off at 2:00 in the afternoon, and they're like, "Yo, babe, come over here." No, don't.
I'm still mad. My
head was big, right? You know what I mean? And it sounds funny because we start laughing, but the reality is, that women are emotional creatures, men are physical creatures. So men can get over that part, and you could curse a dude out, and he'd be like, "You're still my wife. Come over here."
No problem. No problem. It's done. It's done.
Fine. A woman, on the other hand, our bodies don't work that way, and if she's not emotionally in tune, then physically she's going to shut down. And so,
listen,
I understand that.
Yeah, you have to resolve all unresolved conflict. It has to resolve. So whatever the resolution is, but you have to resolve that because, I'm not saying that it's right, but I am the prime example that you hold shit. Like, you want some ass? The way you did this or said this, and that, now you're going to ask me for some ass? Like, please, but you have to try to resolve stuff before you can, that you can really have sex and enjoy it. So the shit ain't perfect all the time, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but just keep that in mind. I think that's a really important thing that people don't think about.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right.
I'm not going to keep you any longer, Cocky Wife. Where can everybody find you, the book, all the good stuff?
So yes, you can find me on Instagram, Cocky Wifey. You can go to my website, cockywifey.com. On my Instagram, you can hit the link, subscribe to my newsletter. So I try to get a newsletter out every Monday. And it just talks about different things related to sex and really the woman perspective. And I didn't say this, Karen, the reason why I really talk from the woman perspective, because I am a damn wife, but you can't change anyone. So I can't say, it's hard for me to say as a married couple, y'all should do this, you should do that, but you can change yourself and you can influence your husband. So I always deal from the woman's perspective. It's just what it is. I learned that shit. Like, I can't change him, but I can influence him. That we can work together to change together. But yeah, you can go in there and have your email address, and I'll send you some stuff every Monday. Like I said before, we're talking about mentality in January. So how mentality and how you think influences your sex life. And every month I'll have different things. And, I want every woman, whatever it is that you and your husband come up with, to be sexually satisfied in their marriage.
Right. I think that the work that you're doing is so important.
Thank you.
I think that it's wonderful that it's a young person doing this and not an old lady like Dr. Ruth.
Yo, thank you, because some of my people be saying I'm too old for this shit. I'm like, damn.
I feel like when you're having sex in your 20s and your 30s, it's not the same as when you get a little seasoned. You just throw at a woman, and it's the same thing. So you can't really give advice until you got to that point where you've
absolutely
grown into your own and into your own space. I think that, for me, that at least that's how it was. I also think it's dope that you're a woman of color. I think very rarely women of color talk about things like this. Everybody walking around, know everything, pussy, all this, and wow.
Oh my gosh.
The difficult conversations that we need to have about ourselves and about our relationships and stuff like that when it comes to marriage and children and sex. And it's really important. Like we always want to be so tough all the time.
Yes. Yes.
And we need to take the time to learn. So I think that the work that you're doing is so important that people need to see it and they need to feel it and they can resonate and create a relationship with that. And it's practical and it's real. So
thank you
for doing that. I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you. I loved it.
The book, because I have it. I'm gonna actually go back and read it again as soon as I find a boyfriend. But there were so many things in there that were useful and stood out to me and made me really reflect. I can go over real quick before you go.
Yes.
I felt definitely when you talked about exercise. So I felt my most sexiest when I was and I had the best sex of my life when I was actually in the gym working out, exercising. It was just a mental thing. But
it's true.
Your body feels better. So for women who are like, it's not even about your weight. It's about being in a mental space where you feel good. And
exactly.
So I miss the gym right now. My weight could be better, but really just having that hour of a day, the same way you carve out that hour for sex, carve out that hour to get to the gym,
Absolutely.
So that was one thing that I found really important. I have been meditating for a couple years now. I have been living in a space of gratitude and mindfulness. I also realized that those things actually help with your sexual relationships in your life and being able to, I remember, having my kids and being young and I was with my husband and, we're trying to get it in, but I'm like, did I turn the stove off? Did I turn it off?
Oh my gosh. Yep.
The baby monitor on. Did I lock the car? You just like, your mind is just like, you know what I mean, all over the place. And so once I learned like meditation and learning to just be present, I was able to, have better intimacy relationships because I was present versus me, yes, physically being there, but not mentally being in that space because I'm all over the place. And so again,
that's
I would
so
not
true.
have done that in my 20s.
Right.
I'm like, damn, like meditation helped this too? What?
Yo.
Seriously, so now people think I'm crazy. I'm like, nah, we about to burn some incense. Don't cut like the new man on me. I'm about to sage you. We're gonna have some spiritual sage. We're gonna have some cosmic orgasm. Like, you're gonna be next level shit. Up in here. You know what I mean?
Yo, that is so true. Yo, since I really got serious with meditating, and I do that as well, I don't play about my meditation every morning. The experience has been intensified. Because my mind is clear. Yo, I start breathing good. It just, like I said in the beginning of the book, this sexual experience is holistic. Yes. It's a holistic experience. It's not just one thing. And you have to approach it as a holistic experience. And that meditation, again, your mind, man, listen, that shit, man. Ooh.
I'm definitely telling you, it makes a world of difference when you like take care of your being.
Yes.
And you could share that with somebody else. And so I think that's pretty dope. So there's some things in the book that I definitely told my Safe Loud listeners, you got to get your hands on it. To the people that everybody needs their hands on it. But I really do think that sex and sexuality and intimacy is a very important part of a marriage and a very important core value in a marriage. And I know people are like, but marriage is not all about sex. No, it's not. But intimacy is really important. And you'll be surprised when two people are intimate and they're synced in and together. All the other shit y'all could do. Like the garage. You don't want to have sex in the morning. Have sex in the morning. I swear to you, the garage will be painted, the fence will be put back up, the garbage will be out.
That's so true.
Dinner will be cooked. Like this man, listen, I'm telling you, he's got an oil change and that oil change you've been asking for 2 months. He done did that shit. And listen.
That's so true.
I don't know.
Yo, and you're following up, Karen, with that text in the afternoon, like, yo, that shit was good this morning. Listen.
We going out for dinner tonight. You crazy.
Right.
What? He done called your mama and told her.
Let me tell you.
Listen. You guys, I'm just telling you, sometimes you catch more bees with honey. That's all I'm saying.
Right, absolutely. I agree.
Sometimes that people don't want to compromise. And for you married people, you already compromising. That's part of what you signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That want sex, and you men too, because there's some men that shut down. You men that want sex once a month, and you got a wife that wants sex 5 times a week. Y'all got to communicate and figure it out.
How are we going to do this? And that is, how can I make sure their needs are met? Like you said, when you expand what it means of sex and pleasure, and you identify and you define, then it's not as big and it's not a monster as you create it to be, because now we identified and we define some stuff we can do, and then that's how we're going to move it. And I swear to you, once you do it, it comes like second nature. Me and my husband did a 30-day sex challenge. 30-day, I'm talking about period and all. 30 days we having sex, and we got that from Oprah.
I heard about that. I mean, I never done it, but I heard about it, that it was, and you could tell the listeners, because look, watch the people in their car right now, write this down. So there's a 30-day sex challenge. I'll look it up for you guys and put it on my website. But there is a 30-day sex challenge where you're supposed to have sex. Correct me if I'm right, Cocky Wifey.
Yes.
Every day for 30 days.
Every day for 30 days. Period sex. I mean, my thing is I still have sex in my period. That's other people what they want to do, but ain't nothing wrong with a little ketchup on a hot dog. But I was like, well, we did a 30-day. We got it from Oprah, so that's how long ago it was. But it was this couple was saying how it increased their intimacy, and I was like, do you think we can do that? Do you think we can do it for 30 days? And he was like, yeah, let's try it. And we really did it. It was hard sometimes. I'm not telling you it wasn't. But after that, it was like we seen each other in a different lens. We seen sex in a different lens. We learned so much about each other. Because after a while, some days it was forced because we was like, listen, what day is it? 15? Damn. And we just, okay. But it was just a different perspective after that. We became more closer, I believe. And we became more connected in that 30 days. So
it looks to me like your website about to have a new 30-day challenge.
But wait a minute, let me tell you, Karen, let me preface this by saying we was like early 30s when we did that. I'm 43 now. I don't know if we can do no 30 days now. So I'm like,
now, you're better. You can handle that in half the time now.
But yes, but a challenge yourself, man. It was just fun for us because we love a challenge. But yes, definitely put on your website the 30-day sex challenge.
No. As soon as we get off this, we're gonna talk about it because we're gonna come up with the 30 days, what they need to do, and then we're gonna put it on. It's gonna be the Cocky Wife and Say It Loud 30-day challenge. You watch.
I love it.
We're gonna do a 30-day challenge for February. I'm locking us into this right now. I'm committing. And
okay, you setting the intention now.
So for February, because it's Valentine's Day and Love Month, we are going to initiate a 30-day Say It Loud and Cocky Wifey challenge for couples to do. I
love it.
And we'll outline it, and we're just going to give you some instructions, and we're going to give you some intention and some good love, and you guys go love on each other and tell us how it goes.
Love it.
So that's going to be that.
I love it. Yes.
So check out Cocky Wifey's website. Check out the book. She'll be in our giveaway bag next month as well for Valentine's Day. So we'll get that to you too. So 3 people will be able to get a bag with all these goodies, and the book will be one of those. And thank you so much for joining me, Cocky Wife. It was so much fun. I hope everybody took away something that was fun and funny and interesting, and took notes and tag all the people that need to listen to this.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody.
All righty.
Sweet Vibrations is the official sponsor of the Say It Loud Hoe Bag. Yes, they are. If you didn't know, Sweet Vibrations is an adult boutique that delivers innovative lifestyle products and embraces the taboo of sexual wellness instead of hiding it. Simply put, they inspire each and every one of us to embark on our own sexual wellness journey. Whether it's the girl's best friend, a little pixie, the perfect match, or tulips, there's something for everyone. And you deserve something sweet. So visit their website at www.sweetvibe.toys. Use our Say It Loud discount code, LOUD, LOUD, for discounts. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Sweet Vibrations. I mean, ladies, we all deserve a good vibe.
Shout out to Cocky Wifey for being a guest on Say It Loud podcast. It's always nice to have new guests and new energy, and I appreciate you for being here and sharing time and space and energy with us, and also your pointers. I actually think you guys listening can all benefit from that conversation, could benefit from the book, and really for you married people, really, or people in long-term relationships, really, or people who are not, actually, now that I think about it, just setting that intention within your relationship and within your intimacy to make it a priority and to work at it and to carve out the time. And so for even the people that's like, I'm tired and it feels like work, it is work. It's work, sharing your life with somebody else. And so you have to put that work in and make it a priority just as much as you make getting to your job every day a priority, or dropping the kids off at school a priority. And so it's really important that you take care of each other and take care of yourself in doing that. So I think that Cocky Wifey had a lot of really good tips that people could implement into their relationships, whether you live together or not, just to be able to take that care and to take that time of each other and that communication. So my call to action to you this week is to really think about your relationship and think about you and your partner, both male and female, and then come together and say, okay, you know what, we're going to commit, to having sex twice a week. We're going to commit to that. We're gonna commit. We're gonna pencil it in. We're gonna put it in our phones. We're gonna make it a priority. The same way we take the car to get an inspection as a priority. The same way we get the food shopping as a priority and prioritize that time and say, okay, this is how we have to do it. And it might have changed since COVID. It might have changed since work from home. It might have changed since having a new baby. And that's okay. That's life. That's growth. That's evolution. But making sure that you stay on top of it so that you have that time and that you have that space. And remember that intimacy is not, just sex. There's other ways to be intimate. It can be like, let's just lay up and watch a movie. It could be, let's have dinner together. It could be, let's take a shower together. It could be, I'll give you a massage. There's other ways to be intimate with your partner without just having sex. So do not limit yourselves to that. That might be something you need on one day, but another day you might not need that. You just might need somebody to come sit next to you and rub your back. And that's okay. What it might be is someone making you breakfast in bed and coming to sit with you because of what you're feeling. And so really thinking about other ways to think outside the box to be intimate with your partner and meet their needs where they are and vice versa, and then open up that communication. So I hope this episode did that for you. I hope it lets you have that communication. I hope it lets you think of those ideas. I hope it lets you think outside the box and kind of really put that spark back together for those of you who feel like it might not be where it was, a couple years ago. And that's fine, right? Things change, life changes. The idea here is that you're changing with those things and that you're making the adjustments as you go, and that there's people who are going through the same thing you're going through, and that we can all come here and laugh about it and kiki about it and have a good time, but also learn from it, and I think that's the important thing. So that was my dropping gems for you, brought to you by Manscaped. Make sure you shop Manscaped. You're using our code LOUD, LOUD, for 20% off. Shout out to She Orgasms for also being a show sponsor. You definitely can go check her out and get coupon code for her. It's on the website. We also have Female Rituals. If you like steaming your yoni, definitely check them out for 15% off. Use our code LOUDER for that as well. All right. Say It Loud is streaming on all major platforms, y'all. We're pretty much everywhere, and YouTube. So go check us out there. We also have our premium subscription for $10 a month. You get more Karen L, more fuckery, more good vibes, more good energy, and you get to support small business. So check that out. You can go to glow.fm/sayithloud or check us out on our website. And yeah, I think we have some good stuff going on, so definitely tell your friend to tell your friend to tell your friend. Also, you guys, I noticed, I don't know if you know this, but I recently launched a lingerie line after an episode called What's in Your Hoe Bag. Now that I'm calling y'all a hoe. And so now we have Sayith Sexy. So definitely visit Sayith, SAYITH SEXY, sayithsexy.com. Indulge for yourself, give a gift to somebody else, and just celebrate your sexy. That's all it's about. Nobody in your house, nobody know what you're doing. Just as long as you feel good and y'all are having a good time together, that's all that matters. So as always, I love all y'all, and I'll talk to y'all next week. We out. Yeah. How did I bring my dreams alive? Why, with a Anchor podcast, of course. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor does the hard work and distributes your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can even make money with your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to Anchor FM to get started.